Hi everyone and welcome to the 9th episode of the Pure Michigan Properties Podcast. Hey Shalaunda.
Dylan, how are you?
I am fabulous. How are you?
You are gorgeous and green today.
Oh, thank you. And I see you repping the t-shirt over there.
Legacy in motion. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Indeed.
So, my question.
What's the question, Dylan?
What is the latest and greatest?
The latest and greatest. Funny enough, right? I got some sleep.
Thank you.
Quality sleep.
Thank you. I already hear the audience, the viewers already clapping, saying congratulations.
Oh, thank you. For those who don't know, I don't sleep well ever. So.
Yeah, ever.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels good. But then I had a great start to the morning, right? I had the opportunity to go visit and do a final walkthrough of the property on Commonwealth.
Okay.
The brothel house that was featured on Channel 7.
Oh, wow.
I did. There were some last minute items that they had left over from the estate sale.
Uh-huh. How was the house?
It is beautiful. Does need some renovation.
Yeah.
But all in all, beautiful home.
Did you get anything from the estate sale?
So I did get a few things, and I'm looking to either drop some things off at the women's shelter or finding someone who can benefit from it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
That's
I
awesome.
grabbed some books, and then they had tons and tons of dishes.
Did they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Figure someone can use them.
Yeah.
Very
I
nice.
saw that house on the news. I saw it on TikTok,
Yeah.
Instagram, social media. It was a big deal.
It absolutely was. And I did walk through during the estate sale,
Uh-huh.
and there were some rooms that were closed off. And I'm like, no way. I can't just leave.
No, you're not at that house.
Right? Without knowing what's behind the door. So I did reach out to the owner and ask if I can do a walkthrough myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
They said yes?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And it came at a perfect time because the home actually sold during the estate sale.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it ever, remind me because I don't remember, was it ever listed for sale or was it just they were doing an estate sale and then maybe they were going to list it?
That is actually a fantastic question, which I'm not sure.
Okay.
When I saw it, I just thought that, hey, it's an interesting property.
Yeah.
I just want to walk through, see what it's all about.
Yeah.
I didn't really check into the details. That wasn't
Okay.
my intent.
Gotcha.
So when I heard that it had sold, I actually was kind of shocked myself.
I'm actually not, to be honest. Just because of the history of that home.
Well, correct. I just thought that, the property owner at the time of the estate sale thought that they were going to keep it and do something for themselves.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I wonder what it sold for. Did they tell me?
Dun. I can find out.
Let me know.
All right.
Let us know.
That's what
I think we're curious to know. I am so excited to talk about this episode.
Oh.
I think this is truly not a big topic, but a big category within the Pure Michigan Properties Podcast, just because Michigan is the lake state.
It is.
So today we thought we'd be bringing a valuable episode to the viewers, the listeners, about talking about buying a lake home in Michigan, what to expect, and making sure you don't make these 7 costly mistakes when buying your property on a lake. So again, we're going to be talking about Michigan lakes, anything that you need to know about when you're ready to buy them, making sure you know the differences between lakefront, lake access, shared access, and we're going to get into the whole details of everything you guys need to know. So let's get into the episode, but I want Shalaunda to take over for a second and tell us a story.
Well, like you first mentioned, we can't just have a Pure Michigan Properties podcast without talking about the one thing that makes Michigan pure Michigan, and that's the Great Lakes. We're surrounded by 5 of the greatest lakes, things like that. So with that being said, who wouldn't want to live on the lakefront home?
I already know where I'm living when I'm older. I already have the specific neighborhood. I already know which lake it's going to be off of. I'm not telling you guys because if you steal my house, I'm already in contact with the owner saying,
Okay.
give me 20 years. Well, it's a multi-million-dollar house. I don't have that money yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, but I'm in talks with the owner of reserving it for myself.
That's right. Hey, but I don't blame you, so get in there now.
Yeah.
But you know what? Talking to the Johnsons, they were a couple from Metro Detroit who had undergone a contract on what they thought was their dream lake home in northern Michigan. You know, a cozy A-frame cottage, glistening water views, and a sign out front that read proudly, Lake Access. So it was everything they'd been saving for, or so they thought at least. But a few weeks later, the dream started to lose its shine. When we reviewed their title documents, you know, it was explained that lake access didn't mean what they assumed. So the home wasn't actually waterfront.
Okay.
It was shared access, meaning that they could see the lake, walk to it, and launch a kayak, but not to build a dock, moor a boat, or host those sunset gatherings they've been envisioning. So even more surprisingly, they shared access came with rules, right? Written and unwritten. Only certain homes in the subdivision were granted rights to use the access point, and others could only pass through. Then came the association fees, the shared maintenance responsibilities, and the fine print that made insurance coverage a little more complicated than expected. So their story, it isn't rare. It's Michigan.
It is Michigan.
Right? And so here the lake access can mean 10 different things depending on the deed, the associated bylaws, and the township regulations.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes it means you have deeded access to a specific lot. Sometimes it means you can only use a shared path. And other times it's simply a marketing term that sounds good, but offer little real insights. And so we'll get into a little bit today about what shared access means versus deeded, dock and boat rights, maintenance fees, insurance, and liabilities. Because owning a lake home in Michigan can absolutely be a dream come true.
Oh, 100%.
I'm a water sign, so for me, it would be, you know, the peaceful mornings, family cookouts, and weekend getaways that refill our souls. As a water sign, that's what it is. But it's beyond the scene details that determine whether that dream stays sweet or turns into a costly surprise. Which you mentioned today that we're going over the 7 most costly mistakes that usually these buyers run into. So we're going to help you prevent that. But before you buy that lake home, make sure you understand exactly what you're getting into and what you're not. The water may look the same from every shore, but the rights that come with it can certainly make all the difference.
100%. I mean, and that's something especially where we have lakes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
When you're buying on a lake, you have to know. And that's where, I mean, even back to the agent's point of view, that agent really needs to do that due diligence on
That's right.
what type of lake is it, what kind of access does that homeowner have, deeded or undeeded,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we'll get into all the nitty-gritty of it today in this episode. So I think, like I said, I'm excited for this episode. I think it's going to be highly valuable. Let's start off with just the basics.
Sounds
right?
good to me.
Right? So there's 3 main types of properties, but they're all created differently.
Okay.
Right?
Let's talk about
So let's talk about lakefront first. Lakefront is your dream scenario.
Mm.
This means your home directly borders that lake and you own that shoreline, right? So typically you can put in a dock, launch your boat, and just relax by the water.
Okay.
Right, so you're directly on the water. So that's lakefront. Makes sense, right?
That makes
right
sense.
on the front of the lake,
Totally.
right? Next one is deeded or shared lake access. These are homes that are not directly on the water. You can see them. They're included in your legal rights, but that does not mean it's private access.
Really?
Correct. So deeded access does not always mean private access. And I think that's something people get very confused.
Well, today, let's make sure that we provide the clarity that they need.
Exactly.
Right? And so I do have some notes here that I have with me to ensure that we're able to provide that clarity. So when it comes to deeded and shared lake access, these homes are not directly on the water, right? But they include the legal rights that you mentioned, written into the deed. So in order to first understand if you have access and what rights you have, we'll have to examine that deed for those details.
Correct.
To use a specific area of the lake, right? So some homes, like you mentioned, the lakefront, you have access to, but other properties, not necessarily. However, the deeded access doesn't always mean private access.
Correct.
You might be sharing that beach or dock with multiple homeowners through a neighborhood association. Which, how would you feel about that?
I think I would need to do a little bit more research on that HOA.
Okay.
And see what that includes, what that doesn't include, what's your fees,
Mm-hmm.
what's the responsibilities of the members in that association. So it's just a little bit more research.
Okay.
Because some are have more requirements than others. Others
Absolutely.
have more fees. And also I'm more concerned about what kind of lake is it? Is it an all sports lake?
And for some, that matters most, right? So
Yeah, I mean for me, like I want to be out there, I want to take my boat, I want to go jet skiing. Some people, kayaks, canoes, nothing more.
Right.
That's it.
And so I had a conversation, and this was maybe a year ago, and someone had called to inquire about some lakefront homes, and I was like, they're like, what are these like home properties going for in Michigan? And I said, so what type of lakes are you looking,
Right.
what homes are we talking about? What type of lakes? All sport lakes or otherwise? And so they're like, I don't know. It's like, we gotta, let's dive into some more details. So we had a conversation.
Right.
Because the prices of these homes, they vary so much. So depending on
Yeah,
where you
depending
are.
on that lake.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might have one that's, it might be two lakes right next to each other, but
Mhm.
different uses.
Yeah.
This lake might cost X, this one's going to definitely cost Y just because it has X, Y, and Z attached
Right.
to it, right? So that's just something else to consider. And usually a lot of the agents will, a good agent will write what kind of...
And I'm going to get into the story, but I'm going to share with you public access real fast. So if the listing mentions near public access, that usually means that there's a public boat launch nearby, not a private space for homeowners, and it's convenient for day trips, but it doesn't come with ownership rights or exclusive privileges. Now, when we're talking about lakes and things like that, I want to share with you the importance of even knowing more about the details of the lake. Took a trip some years ago to Traverse City with my cousins,
Uh-huh.
and this turned out to be one of the most interesting trips ever of all time.
What happened?
Okay, from the beginning of the trip, things just went sideways. Meaning, we first got settled into the hotel and things like that, and afterwards we went out to get on the jet skis.
Okay.
Had a fantastic time.
Uh-huh.
We were heading to an island. Can't really tell you how far out.
Okay.
We just figured, hey, once we get there, we'll know.
Yeah.
Okay. But at some point, things went wrong. So, my cousin, her jet ski flipped.
Oh my God.
Okay. And so now we have to go into rescue mission. It's 3 of us.
Okay.
Okay, so trying to get her out of the water, became challenges. You
Yeah.
never know how heavy a jet ski is
Oh.
until you try to flip it and watch her.
Oh my gosh.
Dylan, I tell you, it was a task. right?
Sure.
And in that process, her mom, my older cousin, her jet ski flipped.
Oh my gosh.
So mind you, it's only 3 of us now. 2 people are in the water. I'm the only person left on the jet ski. I'm like, no, listen, we have to be very strategic on how we're getting out of here because there's no land around us.
Yeah, you're
at this point. My older cousin, she had on the life vest, and her backpack that she had on was one of those string backpacks. And it was wrapped around her neck, underneath the vest. So we're looking down in the water because at this point, my cousin, she had lost her shoes and her phone, but we can see it at the bottom of the lake, and we're Lake Michigan, right? And I'm like, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get some shoes and stuff. I'm like, yeah, no, you're not. This water is clear and we can see the bottom of it, but I'm sure the bottom isn't just, we don't know the depth of this lake.
Right.
So we're not gonna chance it. Okay. Long story short, because it gets longer, but we were able to we made it back. It took about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Wow.
But we made it back. Right, we were able to get my older cousin back on her jet ski, and what we ended up doing was my younger cousin had to lock onto her jet ski, like her arm onto the back of the jet ski, a foot onto one jet ski, and her other arm onto my jet ski, and we just had to tread the water until we were able to get closer to land.
Oh my gosh.
So it got really complicated. But I'm saying all that to say is, if you're someone that likes to be on the water, know the depth of that lake.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, I can tell you more because the next day
that's a whole episode right there.
Right. The next day we went out after it had viciously stormed that morning, and we decided to get on water tubes. But things didn't go well there either. However, let's get back into the episode.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because, once we did find a more shallow area, it was near, a residential homes and things like that. And so I wonder what those folks were thinking.
Oh yeah, they're probably watching you guys like, what is going on?
What is going on? So,
wow.
I'm sure that they didn't pay for that scene in their HOA fee.
Just added bonus.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
But, something to consider, to think about.
No, and that's fair. Because sometimes when I'm looking at lakefront properties, the agent will put the depth of the lake, which I think is great, because especially if you have a boat, you want to know how low the lake goes.
Yeah.
It's just important to know.
Yeah. That way, if you lose your shoes or your phone and you're able to see through this crystal clear water, you understand that, hey, if you're not a expert swimmer or advanced swimmer, diver,
sometimes
not to take that risk.
No. Lakes are dangerous. You gotta be careful.
Yeah.
You gotta be very careful with them.
She would have been swimming with the fish. Oh man, we would have had to get her now.
So back to kind of what you're saying about the associations. Let's talk about HOAs, lake boards, and rules that really do surprise buyers when they're getting into lakes, right?
Yeah.
So often lakes are managed by a homeowners association, right? Because there is a cost to maintain that lake, make sure it's cleared, everything is good, or lake boards, right? It's just a board that directs on the lake, right? So they set the rules, they maintain the shorelines, limiting boat sizes and enforcing quiet hours, right? That's why some lakes are not all sports, right? Because they want just more peaceful, quiet. Sometimes they also have some animals on or birds in there that they just don't want to disturb, right?
Oh yeah.
Some swans.
We have to respect, wildlife as well.
100%. So it's just something important. So especially when I have a buyer looking at an HOA, we review the association bylaws,
Yes.
the budgets, master deed, all of that. But especially if they're buying where there is a lake access or
Yeah.
lake shore, whatever, public access, review what those association rules are.
Absolutely.
Because your buyer might be like, "Ooh, I want this," but those rules are going to govern that lake.
What they can and cannot do. Absolutely. And that's important, even when it pertains to residential sales and condos, whether it's lakefront or not.
Yeah.
You know, home ownership, I think we just want freedom. But when it comes down to it, it's an important factor in the decision-making process.
1,000%.
It should be, yeah.
It definitely should be, really.
And so, now that we've thrown out a couple of questions, because you did hint on a few great questions that buyers should be considering, what happens, we're in Michigan during the winter.
Let's talk about it. What does happen in that winter time?
So while we have breathtaking winters and they're so phenomenal, right? In the same sense, in the same token, when the ice forms on the water docks, lifts, and seawalls face intense pressure. And so moving into some of the responsibilities that these property owners have to maintain their properties, we're talking about removing and securing your docks before the freezing temperatures here in Michigan. And the further up in the UP you are, the sooner the weather changes and you experience that those colder temperatures.
Yeah, I mean, we're hitting a fall right now, and at this point, this is the time.
Yeah, we're experiencing 40-degree weather at its low. So up there in the UP, they're probably experiencing cooler temperatures at this time.
No, for sure. I mean, especially if you're in the UP, this is the time to listen about what we're talking about in wintertime, because you should be doing this
today, absolutely. And so inspecting and maintaining those seawalls annually, understanding what that process means for your lakefront property and things like that. Snow removal, making sure your paths are kept and your shared docks as well. Because until you realize the cost of removing your docks and the repairing of the seawall, if you don't do these things in a timely manner, you could certainly be shocked.
Yes. I mean, back to kind of what you were saying about just making sure you get it all done, right? And that's also incorporated a lot of the times in your HOA fee. For 600, let's call it $600, right? Seems a lot of money up front, but to protect your dock, your seawall, make sure the path's kept up, make sure that it's good for when it turns to spring and summer, so that you guys can go out there and enjoy it.
Right.
It's worth it.
Yeah. Well, when you break it down, because the $600 is, what is that? That's annually or monthly?
Depends. Depends on the association you're in, what the association covers. If you're in a condo, as far as like attached units where you have public access, usually $600 monthly. But for like my subdivision, we have a public access. I'm not on a lakefront, but we have access into it. It's private access.
Okay.
Right? So it's everyone in the association. And so our dues are, I don't even remember, but it's probably, let's call it $500 annually.
And again, when you break it down, right, and for what the responsibilities are, it makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have some properties that have higher HOAs and they don't get as much value out of it. So
correct.
when we're talking about water and ensuring that things are properly maintained around it, it's water itself is the most powerful resource in the world.
Correct. I mean, even with houses,
Yeah.
we see foundation getting ruined because of water,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if you're, I mean, this is not the topic of the episode, but if your house goes, like, slopes down
Yeah.
to where water's coming this way, it's going to keep going against that foundation wall.
Mm-hmm.
And as we know with water, it is a powerful element
Yes.
to where it's going to start breaking away that foundation.
That's right.
And guess what happens? Water in your basement or water in your house.
Yeah, because water, it creeps through, these materials that are permeable, things like that. So, yeah, we can't live with it, but we can't live without it.
Exactly.
But, it is something to consider in addition to the cost of insurance. Right?
Yes.
So when we're talking about these homes that have lakefront access or shared access, whatever the case may be, we have to consider insurance costs for those reasons. I recently had a conversation with an agent out of state who has a property listed, and it's off of the Gulf.
Oh, wow.
And interesting enough too, it was this home he has listed. It was featured on a Netflix series, and so we were talking a little bit about the property, and he said that the insurance for the year is approximately $65,000 to $70,000.
Ooh. Wow.
It by itself alone. Wow. So
That's just insurance.
that's just an insurance.
That's even your mortgage payment.
Right, exactly. And so, not saying that's the case here in Michigan, but
No, I mean, that's obviously an extreme case.
yeah,
right?
that is very extreme.
But, but I mean, I think something that a lot of people forget is, like, that is an insurance cost.
Yes.
God forbid something does happen.
Yes.
You're calling your insurance company,
Yeah.
right? And they want to make sure, like,
And then too, let me throw it out there so I can add to the content of the information. The property again off the Gulf, they experience hurricanes, so that's where the bulk of that cost comes from.
yeah, but we get tornadoes.
You know, we don't get hurricanes.
No, thank God we don't get hurricanes.
Yeah.
We just get tornadoes.
Tsunamis, we can deal with.
Yeah,
Tornadoes.
obviously Michigan's not that bad.
Not that
we just
bad.
get a rough winter.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, well.
Lately, it hasn't been terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but for insurance purposes, I would say to reach out to someone, your insurance rep, have a list of questions, which if you need to know the right questions to ask, reach out to one of us. We'll have a prompt sheet for you. So when you're having this conversation with your insurance rep, you just go through the prompt sheet and ask those questions so you have a full understanding of what is expected from the insurance policies
Yeah.
that you're looking to obtain.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So a lake home beauty comes with that added responsibility. Unfortunately, it's not just a price tag of the home; it's protecting the lifestyle that comes with it.
100%.
So before purchasing, reach out to us. We'll get you a checklist or question prompts to ask your insurance rep.
Something that also I think a lot of buyers don't see on the buying end, but something that we focus on as well when people are buying these properties is the title work involved. So as well as protecting your home with insurance, title work is also important because that protects your interest in the property.
Always.
Making sure that what you're buying is exactly what you're buying.
Yeah.
There's no surprises. Boring. It's nothing crazy.
It's boring.
It is. I mean, there's nothing crazy to a title work, but it's just It's the behind the scenes work that
Indeed.
making sure, again, you own what you own, right?
Absolutely.
So when you're purchasing that property, the title company will review the title work for easements, right of ways,
Mm-hmm.
confirming HOA fees, what they include, the rules with all of that, dock permits, right? If you're thinking about putting a boat in there, you gotta get a dock.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure you're allowed one, the water rights, and also something that goes along with insurance as well is verifying the flood zone maps.
Very important. Yes. Yes. And so listen. Whew. That just kind of took me back a little bit. I got scared myself. Like, flood zone, yeah, because you want to make sure that, again, with any policy that you have, that you're covered in the event that, flood happens just naturally. Sometimes during the spring we get heavy rainfalls, and that can contribute to, water rising, things like that. And hey, I know certain areas in Metro Detroit, I don't want to. I was gonna throw a city out, but if you're financing the property, the lender is going to want to know if that property is in a flood zone.
100%. You're not closing that loan until
Yep.
there's evidence provided that you are getting.
That's right, because they too have to. The lender, by they too, have to protect their interests as well.
100%.
Yeah. So, all these are good things to consider, And so, here's the thing. While waterfront living comes with maintenance, insurance, different types of access, it could be a drain for many.
Oh, for sure.
And I'll tell you why. Because there are people already living in these homes that have access to lakefront. So if it's something that one desires, then one should have the desires of their heart. That's what I believe, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And so your next step when it comes to buying smart, living happy, and enjoying a lakefront home, then you should, for one, be excited. We don't want you to be stressed about it. So
that's what we take on. We take on the stress so that you can enjoy it.
Exactly. And the key is knowing the real cost, rights, and rules before you buy. At the end of the day, there's nothing more to it. Just understanding what that means for you. And so that's exactly why we also have a checklist that we're offering when you reach out, which is designed to help you verify and just dot your I's, cross your T's.
Come on.
Stay informed, stay empowered, and keep building your legacy. And you shall have success.
Buying your lakefront, lake access, private access,
That's it.
property.
And then make sure I get an invitation to some of the gatherings and things. We get the invitation. Exactly. And so we enjoy lakefront living as well. But there are, before we conclude this episode, there are frequently asked questions that we often come across in our industry when buying a lake home in Michigan. And so the first question is, what's the difference between lakefront and lake access, which we discussed in the episode? But also, does deeded lake access mean I can build a dock? Does it? Have to review the information. So, are the homes more expensive to insure, which we discussed? And who maintains the seawall or shoreline, which Dylan covered? So, can I rent out my lake home on Airbnb? Let's talk to your homeowners association to see if it's allowed or not. And when's the best time to buy a lake home in Michigan? Anytime is the best time to buy anything that you desire in Michigan. So if it's winter, maybe let's go ice skating or ice fishing. But you guys, when you're ready, then reach out to one of us. We'd love to help you. And so, Dylan, how can the viewers and audience reach out to you?
Best way to reach out is call or text me, preferably call, but you can either shoot me a call or shoot me a text or give me a call. Best phone number to get in reach with is 248-891-9860. Shalaunda, how do they get in contact with you?
Well, I'm not hard to find, but if you call me, you'll have direct access, and we can start the conversation today. So 586-339-8321. Call, text me, and if you like to write a letter, you can send me one of those too. You know, just not at the number. Wherever you are, reach out. We'd love to help.
Also, want to ask the viewers feedback, suggestions. What do you guys want to hear? What are topics of interest to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Let us know. We will film an episode responding to it.
That's it. So we'll check you all out next Wednesday, because every Wednesday we're bringing value to your journey. You can have these conversations and look like the expert yourself. So until real soon, until next time, we appreciate you. Like, share, follow us, and bye now.
Bye.